So I'm going to take the light meter out for its maiden voyage today. I'm going to put it on my Leica M3. I've added the leash to my strap, so that's there. This guy just snaps right on, and there's enough room for this to get on the hot shoe, no issues. The only issue I have is I got the little case for it, which also has room for a lanyard. Here, I've dialed it, whoa, almost fell in. I dialed it back. But I thought if I just put the lanyard on this guy, once this thing is out of the case, I can lose it. So I went this route. So my plan was I was going to use this roll up in the mountains and do it in one shot, but it was just too smoky and nasty out. So I stretched this into 2 days. The second day I went into a couple small towns, found a couple of cool old churches, and finished the roll off that way. It's sticking out. I'm just going to put a little notch in here. This stuff is tough. I just tried to snip the corner off with a pair of scissors from a Swiss Army knife, and it didn't want to budge. So I'll try this. Sand this edge down so it's not cutting your lanyard. The film today is Adox Silvermax 21. I've got a ton of this. Well, not a ton. I might have a dozen or so tubes of this stuff. And you know what? I've never shot it. I've had it for years. I don't know how long I've had it, but I've never shot it, never developed it. So this might be fun. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if you've ever gone out for the day to shoot a roll of film with a film camera or the Leica. So I'm down by the river. I got about 2 shots left, I think. And it's really dull out. It's starting to rain a little bit. And you thought you were taking photos, but in fact, you didn't hook up the spool properly, or it wasn't taking it up. So what I do is, with the Leica, I'm just kind of cinch up the film. Not crazy tight, but you can feel it. You can see it move, which means I'm taking the film up, which means stuff is happening. If you haven't seen the unboxing of the Reveni Labs Light Meter, I put a link in the description below. Actually, probably just leave it like that. Attach it to the camera, stuff it in the bag, away you go. Wow, look at the smoke. We're in the Rocky Mountains and you can't even see them. Check out the smoke from the Oregon forest fires, and I guess Washington too. But that little peak there is nothing. Behind there, it's just huge mountains, and of course you can't see anything. Man, that's nasty. So when you turn it on, that's when it takes the reading. It's not constantly active, you know, cranking out the numbers as you change the light. So it's a one-shot deal. You point where you're going to shoot, and you turn it on, and that's the reading you're going to get. So we're at pretty high elevation here, and it's usually blowing pretty good. I think we're about 4,500 feet above sea level. I'll have to double check that. Anyway, I'm going to take a shot of these guys here and see what we get. And my reading is 5.6 at 500th of a second. Pretty challenging light, I think, for this meter, but we'll see the results here shortly. The date is September 17th. And I'm going to take a shot in here, see how this meter works in this stuff. It's pretty nasty. Oh, and that flickering you saw on the video is to do with the frame rate of my phone. It doesn't look like that when you're using the meter. It's a solid LED. Yeah, you don't get that flicker, obviously, when you're looking at it with your eyeballs. So I just took a shot here with this tree in the foreground, and it was telling me f8 at 500. So we'll see how that goes. Just gonna climb down here and shoot through these aspens and see how that turns out and see how this thing reads. So it's telling me f2.8 at 1/25th of a second. I better get a forerunner shot. All right, here we are, 1,850 meters above sea level, and this smoke is pretty much blocking out the whole entire Rocky Mountains from this view anyway. And yeah, this is from the Oregon and Washington forest fires. And we're in Canada. Pretty nasty. Anyway, I don't know what to take photos of up here. There's really no views. I'll see if I can burn through this roll though anyway. So here's that setup, and it's working great. It's on the strap here. No issues with that. I think it's going to be fine. It's not tugging on it either. So far, so good. I'm liking this thing. Really convenient. It's light. You don't even notice it's on there. Like it's a tank anyway, but you don't notice it. It's so convenient and easy to use. No screwing around with the menus. Yeah, I really liking it so far. So I shipped out the slide film that I was shooting with the Canon AE1 today, and it's going to be 2 weeks to get it back. What a pain in the butt. Slide film, it's got to be shipped to Vancouver. So hopefully we'll see those here in the next couple weeks. Stuff you find near a fairgrounds or on a fairgrounds. Look at this old beauty right here. So I'm not using any test meters, I'm just running with this thing. I want to shoot this guy at f2, and there it is. And it's telling me to shoot it at 1000. Not doing a bunch of landscape photography today. It's just so smoky. This is the next day, and I'm just cruising around small town. And we're here at this kind of a cool old church. So I've dialed in f8, and let's see what it tells me to shoot here, if I can hold it. And there you go, it's telling me to shoot at 2/50th. It's really dark in here, maybe too dark for photos. So here we are, and I'm going to shoot this at f8. So I set my aperture on my camera to f8, and I set f8 on this, and it's telling me 1/25th. Over here, I'll take another reading. And now it's telling me up here 2/50th. Makes sense. It's a lot darker this way. Let's try it again. Yep. Here, I've dialed it. Whoa, almost fell in. I dialed it back. So I got 2 more shots left. I'm down by the river. It's dull out, raining. And I got this guy balanced on a crappy tripod on a rock. Oh, and look at this. It's not bad. Little buck, mule deer. I've got it set up at f16, and I have a 2-stop ND filter on it. And 100 ISO film in it, of course. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and slow this water down. So what I've done, I set this guy to f16, and it's telling me 1/4 second. But I have a 2-stop ND filter on it, so there's a couple things I can do. I can go into the ISO settings and tell it to shoot at 25 ISO, or I can go here and go 2 stops. So that f32, that includes my 2-stop ND filter, and it's telling me to shoot 1 second. So I'm going to try it. I've set it up 1 second up here on top, and we're going to take the shot. All right, I'm going to develop this roll. The light meter is not going to turn your Leica or any other mechanical camera into a point and shoot. You're still going to have to play with it, you know, check your highlights, check your shadows, but it's a great base for making photos. I paid for this, obviously. My channel's so tiny, I didn't get any freebies. So this is an unbiased review of the Reveni Light Meter, and I think it's awesome. It seems tough too, so I don't think I'm going to be breaking it anytime soon. I might lose it. Anyway, it's beautiful and sunny here now. Smoke's cleared, or the wind's changed direction, and I'm going to get out and play with some cameras.